Fair. Sorry, I lied. But then he goes,
I have no idea what dry blows in.
ball bag! Oh, a ball bag! That's a scrotum! And he like grabs his nuts. He's just like this classical actor. Fucking great.
All right.
I'd be able to go in and out, man.
So, as a bit of a recap for since it's been a little while since we've all met up, but to kind of recap where we left off at, it was a journey where you guys were a little lost in the jungle for a bit after leaving the goblin village of Yelyark. Eventually, kind of regaining your bearings and locating yourselves and kind of lining up your map with some local landmarks, you were able to reorient yourselves enough to make your way back kind of towards the river that you had been following towards Camp Vengeance. Along the way, you shared your camp for a night with a frost giant by the name of Thirja, who had informed you of a certain individual artist climber, a harper, and possessor of what the frost giant referred to as an evil ring, the Ring of Winter, a ring that her and her ilk were trying to find this man to reclaim, given that the ring they did not believe belonged in the hands of someone just other than themselves, due to this ring's sort of evil, corrupting nature. But having not seen this man, you simply were content to share stories and drink for the night before setting out again. The following day, you came upon what was an interesting sort of phenomena in this jungle, this hot and humid jungle. You came upon frozen trees and cold moisture, cold air, before finding yourselves wrapped up in a storm, upon which, waiting for a moment, a man and a dragonborn companion of his came running through the jungle, very similar to Johnny Depp in whatever Pirates of the Caribbean movie it is, where he's running out of the fucking woods.
Second one.
With a T-Rex on their tail. Assisting them to dispatch it, this man introduced himself as Arnold and his companion Dragonbait. And while he was in the jungle for his own reasons, you all were content to travel together for a time. Made your way to Camp Vengeance, where, though you were accepted into the camp without trouble, when the leaders of this camp had requested of you to aid them in a 2-week expedition into the jungle to slay some undead, and you refused, they weren't too happy about that and threatened to imprison you under martial law for impeding their efforts, essentially. This did not sit well with the party.
I was gonna say, I bet we fireballed them.
You attacked first, actually, in fact.
Are you trying to get me killed, motherfucker? All right. All right, though. I mean, I would have. I mean, you're playing him right.
But yes, this man was very crass to you, and you are a captain. You are not someone who simply takes orders. You ran him through with your rapier.
Right. Fuck yeah.
And the party attempted to flee. There were many other enemies in this camp, and some fireballs and some teleporting and some not teleporting, misty stepping and some jumping around later, along with a interesting surge of magic from Asher that resulted in these strange squid-like creatures filling the camp. You guys managed to Flint, you actually blew a hole through one of the walls.
With what?
Or Asher, I think, actually fireballed the
I was
wall,
gonna say,
and you jumped through. The rest of the
I got
group
shit that
jumped
I don't
out.
even know what the fuck I have.
Yep. Stealing or grabbed a few canoes that were tied off to replace the ones that you had lost, and began to set sail back down, or rather not really set sail, but continuing back down the river. So we find ourselves now later in the evening. You all sort of rowing your way down this slow traveling river, sort of in the distance now behind you. You still can kind of hear echoing through the jungle the yells and various orders and commands being barked through the night. You see this sort of orange glow rising above the sort of treetop cover where you left a significant portion of that camp burning. It's late. It is very dark. You are all very tired. But you row on. So, what do you guys do?
Well, I'm just coming to my senses after such a wild night. What do you guys think we should be doing right now?
I'm pulling all the arrows out of my shield.
Okay, and there were several. And so you managed to pull about 8 usable arrows and a javelin out of your shield.
Does anyone need these?
I'll take the arrows. Can they be used in a hand crossbow? A stupid question, probably.
So they're sized for a short bow, but I would say you can maybe take some time to try to whittle them down to a smaller size at some point.
Hold on to them.
Okay. If nothing else, the tips and the arrowheads are salvageable.
Yeah.
Bumblebee, he goes to are there tall trees near us?
You're
surrounding us still?
If you guys want to pull the canoes off the river and kind of look for a place to make camp, you can, or you can kind of continue a little bit farther. You're not too far from the camp. You can still see it. Night.
Oh yeah, we still need
Nice.
probably.
Yeah, you guys kind of arrived in the camp towards the end of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember now.
And shit
I'd
kind of
say-
broke out quick.
Keep going down the river.
Okay. So you are going to be pushing your limits a little bit here. So I will say to continue for another hour down the river, everyone go ahead and make some constitution saves at disadvantage if you're in heavy armor, by the way.
Con saves?
Yes. As you're really pushing yourself right now. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. You guys are all very much more than fine. I'll go ahead and make one for Asher as well, I suppose. Jesus, he has a pretty big bonus too. Yeah, you guys are fine. So, adrenaline's still kind of pumping from what just transpired. You guys shake off the sort of exhaustion, shake off the weariness, and trudge onward another hour or two downriver until the glow of the fire left behind is nothing more than just a subtle sort of orange haze above the tree line. I think Dusty clicked the update Discord button. That's what it sounded like to me. Oh, Jesus.
You gonna wait for him?
You can, but you guys can go ahead and tell me what you want to do.
Yeah.
There he is.
That was quick.
I managed to cancel it before it shut down. My stupid fucking cat jumped on the power button.
Nice.
Alright.
So,
Luckily,
as I was saying, I think before you disconnected, a couple more hours down the river. At this point now, the sounds of the individuals still at the camp are beginning to fade. The orange fire glow is nothing more really than a haze now above the tree line.
Now, did we leave any survivors? Out of game question. Sorry, this is my in-character voice.
I think so. We kind of just
Yeah, I think there was a lot left.
we threw fireball into.
Well, They saw our faces, so if I'm being completely honest, we should probably make sure they don't get word back to civilization. Probably should have mentioned that before we hooked it away.
One of the things you guys noticed as well, I didn't mention this, and I don't know if you guys remembered, a lot of the people there were sick.
Yeah.
Part of the expedition they wanted you to go on would be to escort some of their sick back to town, to attempt to get them healed. Essentially,
think
the
they
conditions in the
might-
camp were not good. It was very run down, very much a sort of makeshift thing. Lots of like puddles with standing water with insects of all kinds buzzing around. This was a fallback camp after this was the group of individuals that were originally at Camp Righteous that were run out.
I think we should be fine.
Well,
in
let's.
back to civilization.
No, hang on. No, my thought process is we just torched a fucking hospital camp. I don't really have a problem with that, but folks in town might if they find out. We should probably prevent them from finding out.
Weren't these people like not looked on very well by the
No,
people in
not
town?
at all.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
This
fuck it then.
this was members of the Order of the Gauntlet from back in Baldur's Gate, and at that, not exactly the most savory of people. This was more of a sort of kind of punitive force, I guess would be the best way to put it. And even then, a large number of the individuals at the camp were just tribal warriors from the jungle that had been kind of staying there for rest and just shelter.
Yeah. I don't think people will have a problem assuming. Now, if we go into town and murder people, then that'd be different. But
They tried to enslave us for a brief period.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys, a little ways further down now, do you want to continue down the river further, or do you want to go ahead and start to look for a place for camp? Or do you
How
wanna
long
do
has it
something
been
else?
since it's gotten dark? Or is there
Since it's
a
been
way to tell
dark,
time?
yeah. I mean, it was already kind of pushing dusk when you guys arrived at the camp. You were, brought in, negotiations ensued, combat ensued, and you're now a few hours past that point. So it's probably pushing, midnight, 1 a.m. It's middle of the night.
I have a question, Goob, and this is very important.
Mm-hmm.
My dog's still alive?
Yes, Roger is still alive.
Okay, good.
However, the two individuals that were with you, Arnold and Dragonbait, they fucked off. They dimension doored themselves out of that camp immediately
Oh,
when shit
yeah.
broke out.
Will he
I
be
remember
back?
that. Little
Will he be back?
bitches.
Goob, will he be back? He's Arnold.
You don't
will
know.
he be back? But will he be back?
He did have a football-shaped head. Curious thing, really.
But will he be back?
He didn't say.
Okay.
John.
We should camp on the opposite side.
Are
of
you
the river.
Sarah Connor?
So, you're fine. What are you guys doing?
Well, I believe our goal was to get to Mbala. We're not quite there yet. So
Correct.
let's
Say
camp and then keep
camp.
moving.
we may want to get off the river. Just
Why?
Well, we don't know where the river goes, and it could go in the wrong direction from here.
Well, looking at the map, it seems to we need to be going west. The river might go west. We should be recording it as we go.
Yeah. We can follow it until
Which
it turns.
question for the DM?
Mm-hmm.
Can we see the stars at this moment?
Sure. I'd say so.
If I may, we should probably be traveling at night. I can navigate us quite well by the stars and fill in the map as we go with my proficiency in cartographer's tools.
I can help you with filling in the map. I think.
And my
Well-
my proficiency with navigator's tools and water vehicles.
If we're pushing on, I'll just be on. I'll just look for bad fish and
Look for bad fish.
bad fish.
Okay.
Big blue whale.
All right. So you guys want to push on through the night?
I feel like I can tell which way we're going fairly easy as long as the stars are out.
Mm-hmm.
And I can during the day as well with the sun, the biggest star.
Yeah.
But
That's.
it's really our choice. Either way work.
I'd say during the day we're less likely to run into issues of the undead variety.
That's a fair point. Well, let's take our rest then, shall we?
Do we see a decent place to take a rest, DM?
Make a perception check.
I'll help.
Okay.
I'll give him advantage. I'm fucking shit at those.
Okay, 15. I mean, it's dark. It's, actually, I'd say, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, any place really, any place really looks as good as the other. It's, on both sides of the river where you're currently at, the tree line kind of pushes up on it pretty close. You don't really see, a clearing or anything of that nature. But, I mean, you could probably pull off and take a look around and find an area for the night. I mean, there's not too much left to the night at this point. At this point, for a long rest, you'd be pushing a little ways into the morning. But you don't see anything wrong with the immediate area around you, I suppose.
Okay. Any objections to camping gear?
No, none at all.
Nope.
Okay.
Roger, what do
So
you think?
Maybe look around
Woof.
on the trees.
Woof. That was it a woof of ascent or descent?
Hard to tell. It was a woof.
Wait. I would already know. Is there any point to looking around at the dark with dark vision, or is there really not that much vision to actually?
I mean, you can clearly. I mean, so for the 60 feet around you, you can clearly see the edges of the river, and maybe 10 feet or so into the trees. But it's so thick in this jungle, it's hard to really make out a full 60-foot past. Like probably get about 40 foot out to the tree line, maybe another 10 feet into there. But from there, it's dark foliage. But yeah. Trying to remember something real quick. Check something. So you guys pulling off here, camping?
Yeah, we should use the alchemy jug. Get some water. Or whatever.
Alrighty, I'll
All the
pop it
things
out
we've
and
been
I will
doing.
say water and start
Okay.
filling up the buckets.
Sure
All
thing.
those
So you
wonderful things
produce.
we have.
Yep. So you produce yourselves. I'm going
I think
to
it's
assume you're doing
16
fresh
gallons,
water.
I think.
Fresh water. It's
I mean,
8
I
gallons.
have sole control of the alchemy jug, so I could kill us all right now. I'm just saying.
Okay.
No, it's fresh water. Don't worry.
Yes, fresh water. So you can pour out over the course of the next 4 minutes. You pour out 8 gallons of fresh water into the various receptacles that you have.
Butt chug. Hey, you know what a butt chug is? Bumblebee?
What?
Butt chug. It's how you stay hydrated when you're out on the seas.
No.
See, the thing
It
is,
doesn't.
your
It sounds
colon-
vulgar.
Your colon absorbs water way faster than your stomach does.
No.
It's a good thing we aren't out on the high seas.
Yeah.
Ah, and suit yourselves.
Oh
I
man.
think Tabaxian, whatever you're not human. You're God.
Get Yankee.
Yeah.
Giant green lizard man,
Yeah.
essentially.
I think our
Space
insides
elf.
are a little different.
No, our outsides are different. You got fur, I got this shit.
I'm gonna go not put
Find a
water
tree.
in the ass.
Alright, so you guys pull the canoes off. Kind of find a, not really a clearing, but enough space to set out your 2 tents, set up a camp. Are you guys going to set up a watch, or are you guys just going to all kind of crash?
Oh, we're setting up a watch.
Yeah,
I'm at least
watch.
putting Roger out. Roger
Okay.
and I'll take the first.
Okay, I'll
Watch.
take second.
Okay.
Oh, I get a cat nap.
Alright. Okay, so you guys do your normal setup, as you do most nights. Set out the rain catchers, set up the tents. It is a clear and dry night this evening. No rain, but rain catchers out just in case. For the first night, first watch, go ahead and make a perception check, Dusty.
Yep. 1 for me. 1 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Roger has the same bonus, but he gets advantage.
Sight and hearing, I believe, yes.
So yeah.
Okay.
So it's, his is actually a 17. But
Yep. Okay, so as Bumblebee, Asher, and Huckfar retreat for the evening, Asher and Huckfar each into a tent, Bumblebee up into, I assume, a tree. You take your
Yes.
watch,
Yep.
and really, in this location you're in, there's not a whole lot to look out at. You've basically got jungle to your back, river, and then other shore, and then jungle to your front. But you keep an ear out, regardless. And while you kind of listen to and hear just the sounds of the jungle at night, the familiar sounds of, predators of some kind in the distance, maybe hard to tell really how far or close they may be, but no immediate threat seems to come into your camp. Seems to be a relatively calm night, at least now, after the events that transpired prior.
yeah. I'm gonna take a little bit of water from the jug, if there's just a tiny little bit left, and pour it into one of Huckfar's gloves before I go to wake him up.
Okay. One of his gloves?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
It's literally just like classic hockey prank. You pour water into somebody's glove and it really is fucking annoying.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's just to be annoying.
Okay. All right.
I'll wake up Huckvar and say, "Hey, but you're up."
Okay.
I'll lay down to
Anything
sleep.
interesting?
You asking me or are you asking Flint?
Asking Flint. But...
Oh, no. There's some sounds out in the jungle, but I didn't notice anything, neither did Roger.
Okay.
But, hey, be careful. I hear there's some water snakes about. Could hear them slithering. All they do is they're I've seen them around. We see them on the ocean sometimes. They just spit out water and then leave. They aren't dangerous. They're just annoying.
That's an odd way for snake to be, but
Yeah, I know, right? They're really weird. Anyways, good night.
What?
ooh, I get to roll deception. All right, here we go.
nature does have its ways.
Okay, hold up.
Wow.
Are we re-rolling now?
Nope.
The most unconvincing lie to the most gullible
It's a little
person.
bit like an awkward. It's like a little bit like an awkward silence. Like you try to
Matt.
lie, but it's kind of on the nose, and then he kind of tries to realize, like, think about it, but he's like maybe you just assume maybe it's just like a Githyanki thing. You're just like, all right, I guess. Okay,
Listen, I
and
just
just
woke up. I'm
like
tired.
a deadpan silence kind of fills the air for a moment.
Good luck sleeping. I'll go to take watch.
Okay. Let's go ahead and make a perception check.
Yeah, I
And
forgot
anything you're
where all
doing? Anything you're doing while you're on your watch?
No. I'll fill in a bit into my book about Camp Vengeance, giving a pretty anti-Camp Vengeance bias.
Okay. So, you take a look around. Everything seems on the up and up. You begin to write in your book, and you get lost a little bit in what you're writing, and you look up for a moment, and you see 6 pairs of eyes kind of blinking in the night, not too far from your head. These bats seem to have kind of flown into the camp and seem to just be hanging on a tree branch above you, upside down, looking at you, kind of curious, kind of looking at, like, see a couple of them looking kind of.
I'll toss them some fish.
Kind of look at it, not sure what to do because they're bats and they don't really eat
That's
fish.
what I was thinking. I was like, do they eat fish?
Yeah, but I still toss
the fish lands in the ground. Oh, Jesus Christ.
The human just threw a fish at us.
They flap off and they land on a little bit further away the tree branch.
I'll go back to
Okay.
keeping watch.
Alright. Pretty calm evening as well. A couple more hours pass, and at this point now you start to see small fingers of sunlight at the dawn beginning to creep over the tree line. You start to see, what normally is just varying shades of gray to you at night start to fill in once more with color. And start to feel like, a few hours have passed.
Okay, I'll wake up. Who did we say was next for watch?
Me, Bumblebee.
Okay, yeah.
I'm in the tree.
So,
Can you get me?
I'll wake up Bumblebee by throwing a fish at him.
Okay. You throw one more of your
Immediately
fish.
eat that.
Like fucking Geldo
Breakfast.
from
Breakfast in bed, man.
Yeah.
Alright, so at this point now, Bumblebee, the sunlight is beginning to rise. Sun's beginning to rise. Dawn is beginning to. Sort of the light of dawn is beginning to kind of fill the area around you. Are you staying up in the tree or are you climbing down?
No, I'm gonna stay down. Yeah. If their tents are near each other, I'm gonna stay kind of in between them.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Is there any water left in the thing?
At this point, I'd say no.
Oh, very perfect.
Natural one. Okay. So, you wake up, you consume your fish, you do the cat stretching thing. And as you look around a bit, you look around a bit and kind of see some fish hopping in and out of the river. Make your way over to it. Spend the next few hours trying to successfully fish some of these things out of the water, all cat-like. Make a just a dexterity check. See if you catch any fish.
Oh, come on. There it is.
Oops.
18? I'd say you caught a fish.
Nice.
The little fish begins wriggling, and you spend. It takes you a little while to get it, but you do get one. And as you're kind of doing it, the rest of the group kind of begins to awake. Asher steps out of the tent and looks at you, and
I throw it at Hugvar immediately when he wakes up.
So, all right. So you guys go ahead and get your long rest. Relatively uneventful evening. Go ahead and long rest you guys here. So, new morning and a little bit later into the day at this point. Since you kind of got a late start on your rest. At this point, it's, the heat's beginning to rise. You look up again, and once more, not a single cloud in the sky. You don't believe there's going to be any rainfall today. The rain catchers are dry as well. What kind of pace do you guys want to set for the day? Slow, normal, fast?
Let's let's go normal because I want to be recording our position as we go.
That sounds
Okay.
good. Don't want to
Yeah, and
overshoot
after
either.
yesterday's events.
Okay. All right, and then in that case as well, go ahead and who's going to be your navigator for the day?
So, question:
Mm-hmm.
Does being proficient with navigator's tools and cartographer's tools do anything for me here?
Nah.
I'm navigating though. We're on the fucking water, man. Come on.
You're in a slow-moving river stream in a thick jungle in an uncharted island.
But I can
you
map
pull out
shit.
you pull out your sextant and your spyglass and you see trees.
They're very
I'm
nice
taking a
trees.
bath in a big tub. Do I have an advantage?
Yes, I should have advantage. If it's a big enough tub, yes.
And this is, I'd say this is more of traveling through the jungle is more of a sort of a survivalist task. This
Yeah,
isn't
I
really
know.
this isn't
Huck, where
really
you're
a
at.
typical seafaring or even really just you got it.
Do I have advantage on this or no?
I'm helping. Can I help him?
I would say for this, no. This is more of a 11. Okay.
Oh,
Which
we're
way you
fucking
guys?
lost.
Which way?
How can we be lost on a river?
Which way are you guys heading? Are you just heading along the river or?
Heading along the river, unless it turns east, I believe is what.
Yeah, unless after we're off the map, if it turns east, we're not
Okay.
sticking
Yeah.
on it.
And you did say you wanted to head at a normal pace as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a moment. Alrighty. So, traveling at a normal pace. You do have your canoes, so you do travel a little bit quicker. And anything you guys are doing while traveling?
I am trying to train my dog a little bit better.
Okay.
Just looking around. If I see any fish jumping out of the water, I'm gonna grab it with my cat claws.
All right. So, traveling down the river once more. Not really trying to go too quickly. Trying to, take your time. Keep an eye on the area around you. You notice after just a few more hours traveling down this river, the jungle begins to thin before really opening up, and you find yourselves now in this sort of marshy. Like you kind of look out, and what for a while was just jungle on both sides of you and kind of along the banks of the river begins to almost open up like a V. And you look out, and this river kind of you look down maybe another mile or so downriver, kind of begins to dissipate, and instead you see this sort of marshy basin area. You
Well, I don't think river.
Yeah, from where you're at too, and given it's a pretty clear day, you can see in the distance just dinosaurs, all sorts of herds of them, just kind of all spread out along this marshy area, varying watering holes and the like. You see large insects in some areas floating around. And I will say, since you are navigating, Huckfor, go ahead and make a perception check. 14. Okay. In the distance, you make out what looks to be groups of these almost humanoid-looking creatures, but it's hard to really tell full-featured from this distance. You do see
I pull out my
floating,
trusty spyglass.
You do see floating above the marsh, in the air, what looks to be a large, almost like it was removed from the ground and just floating there in the air, chunk of earth.
Anyone else want to go check it out?
It is way up in the sky.
Check what out. Hey, Asher.
Up
You can
there.
make people fly, right?
I don't know if it's enough to. No, I can't. Actually,
Shit.
I'm more of a explosions and such.
That's fair.
It's a little bit unstable, really.
Well, shit. How do we get up there?
You also see to the west, kind of down in this, down this basin a little ways, and then from your current position southwest from here, you do see this large area of where these sheer cliffs and these plateaus begin to rise up from the basin as well.
Well, I've seen Hunter x Hunter, and I know how going to that basin ends. So I would suggest we don't do that.
I'd suggest we do, because this looks really interesting.
I'm sure it is, but if that rock falls on us while we're in there, we are D-E-A-D dead.
Well, then we just hope it don't falls.
I mean, it's pretty far from where you guys were at. Like, you're talking, like, this thing is way in the distance. You're just able to notice it because it is a large chunk of earth that is floating in the sky. And it is a clear day.
In that case, we can just not go.
We caused enough trouble in the jungle.
It's probably 30 or 40 miles from you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's awfully far away.
I'm sure we'll definitely not find any reason to go investigate it later.
Well, you said it, not me. Let's rock and roll.
I'll tell Flint, make sure you mark it on the map.
Oh,
just
yeah,
in case.
good point. I'll do that.
Okay.
Do I need to roll for that? I can't, because I have proficiency. Just want to say that I do.
Yeah, I'll say make a just make a. What skill do I want to have you do for this? I'd say make just a perception check with advantage to determine using your spyglass, essentially.
So do I get double proficiency then?
You get advantage.
Okay.
Oh,
natural 20. It's a natural 20.
All right. While you're rolling, oh, dude, just click the little advantage button in the bottom left, dog. So you don't
Oh,
roll
shit.
2d20s.
Yeah, see it. That's
So
it.
natural
That's a
20,
natural.
yeah, you're able
20.
to pulling out your spyglass and.
Which
because-
I checked. I actually don't have a spyglass, and they're really expensive, which is why I don't have one. I have navigator's tools though, so I have like a sextant.
Using your eye and your sextant, and being pretty good at gauging the distance between two locations that are unimpeded by terrain, you gander that this thing is probably floating, kind of looking at the stuff below it, probably floating maybe 100, 150 feet or so above the ground in this basin, and it is, I'd say, let's see here, probably about here. I don't know if you can see that pink line there. I'll go ahead and I'll draw something here.
I see it.
Yep. Hold on.
So can we permanently edit this map in any way?
There's this chunk of earth.
Is it possible for us to permanently edit this map? Oh, you did it. Sweet.
Hold on. I'm going to make this a little bit better looking.
Very nice, yeah.
Just put a picture of Dwayne the Rock Johnson. This big rock.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Jesus fuck. That's actually not a bad idea. We'll do that. I'll do that while you guys are determining what you're gonna do next.
All right.
So
So
you're
we
still
can see.
where you're at now. You're still kind of on the river, but it does open up into this large basin. If you continue down the river,
We'll be going into the basin.
yeah, you've only been traveling. I mean, you've only been traveling at this point maybe a third of the day. You still got plenty of day left.
In that case, going west seems to be the right option.
I would agree with you, but I am curious about this basin that the river flows into.
I mean, I'm never against checking that out.
Let's
Yeah, we
do
can
it.
walk west along the basin.
Why don't we take our canoes through it?
Uh, Thinking back at the dragon turtle, we don't know what
It's
lurks in
not
these waters.
the basin is like a it's still a river going through it, right? It's like a canyon kind of thing.
No, isn't it a marsh?
I thought it was like the river's still going through it, but there's like the canyon and the basin around it. Goob.
Hmm?
Just too busy getting Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yeah, I know. The basin, does the river still flow through it, or is it widen out into a marsh?
Hold on. You guys should see a pin there now called the rock.
Yes. Nice.
Make sure you click it.
So is there still like a river that flows through the marsh that we can see?
No, sorry. So it really opens up. Like the river itself kind of dissipates, and you're not really sure if there's still river. Like it flows into this almost swamp-like forest.
Okay.
There are a number of areas that kind of look like they're. Oh, I think he died. I think his cat ate his computer again. Yeah, it did. For you guys, there are a number of areas that look like you can see water kind of concentrated around them, but the rest of it kind of almost looks like a thick swampy marsh.
I'm getting really good at catching the fucking cancel
That was
button.
pretty damn good, dude.
What?
That was
No,
pretty
my
good,
cat just
dude.
shut off my computer again.
Yeah, but you did it. But you caught it.
It was
I
quick.
caught it. Yeah, I'm getting good at that shit. Anyways, what did you say about the marsh? I'm so sorry.
It flows. The river flows down. It's more or less like a swampy, marshy bog, but there are a couple of areas you see in the distance where like the foliage kind of thins, and you see what looks to be these like ponds or lakes where the water maybe is deeper, and that's kind of where the wildlife is gathered around. But there's no real like river that's perceptible in here.
Okay.
It just, but it is a very clear and open area. There's no jungle in this area. It's just all open marsh.
Well, what do you guys think? I feel like fording our way through with the canoe would be a bad idea. I don't want to lose the canoe. That said, if we get stuck, we're kind of fucked. Well, the marsh. By the
I
way,
think at this point we have to lose the canoe. There's no real choice.
why not? We can try and take it through the marsh. I used to do that all the time back home in New Jersey.
How far are we going to be taking this canoe, though?
Far as the river. It's always good to have a map of, or a means of transportation on the water, because you go faster.
True, but if we're going to Mbala, we have no clue if the river goes to Mbala. So we could end up carrying the canoe for 20 miles just to find out that we'd have to carry it another 40 or 100 miles.
Well,
just
how
for-
much does a canoe weigh?
Wait, I had been carrying the canoe before, like no problem,
Yeah.
right? So like that I can easily carry the canoe
Okay.
if that's what we want to do. But didn't you say that the dinosaurs were gathering along where we would be walking, basically, though? Because we'd be
Well,
walking on the edge. Where
They're
the
kind
water
of
meets.
they're kind of all in this area. Sorry, excuse me. They're kind of all in this area interspersed. A few of them seem to be gathered around these sort of concentrations of water, but the basin itself very large, very open, and you can kind of just see out from where you're at. You can see out along it.
Now,
pretty far.
as I am a sailor and someone good with the water. Oh, by the way, is Corey with us?
I don't know. I just muted myself for ambiance.
No, I just meant, or is he like with the party, or are we finding him?
You have not.
No.
Yeah, you haven't found him or anything like that. No.
I don't know if he was just gonna like
He's a mute.
Darius was gonna morph into Myrick Vert.
This entire time, Chongus has actually been Corey.
Holy shit! It's a conspiracy, I tell you. Anyways, can I tell, looking over the marsh, how deep it is, roughly?
You guys haven't made it into the marsh yet at this point.
Right, I'm just looking at it.
From where you're at now.
Can we actually see the other side of it? Because we keep saying that if we keep going on in the river, but can we actually see that it exits out into a river on the other side? Or we can't even see that from here.
From here, no. It is just as far as you can see. Probably 30, 40, maybe even wider in some areas further on, miles of just marsh from side to side.
Yeah.
And then kind of on the edges of this marsh, these large towering cliff faces and plateaus that seem to climb high.
So here's my thought. We have to cross this marsh one way or the other. We don't really want to go tango with them nasty lizards. What do you say we just try and ford our way through, and if we get stuck, we go back?
I could go with that.
So you'd also you would see that the river travels kind of in like this pattern. Hold on. The river kind of travels like this, and then about here is where it becomes imperceptible amongst the marsh.
Well, okay, in that case, we can travel down and leave before marsh comes up.
Seems a sound decision.
Before we do, I'm gonna say a prayer to my ancestors. Please do not let me get stuck in this fucking marsh. I do not want to ford my way through this.
You hear what maybe sounds in your ears as soft purrs, although you look around and you don't see anything.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay. So you guys continue on?
Yep.
But
I'll
how
lead the
far
way.
down do you want to go before you're exiting? Or do you want to just take the canoes as far as they'll go along the river?
As
Or
far
are
to the
you-
west as we can get.
Okay. So the
Actually,
river
I'm gonna-
continues south and then curves east.
Right. We want to go as far south and west as we can on the river.
Okay. Before it becomes marsh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and I'll make another quick little drawing here. The marsh itself, like you can see kind of where the river flows through it, but you start to see this kind of swampy vegetation, like a clear change in the vegetation and sort of the terrain, right about here, kind of like that.
Okay. And what does it change into?
That's where it kind of goes from this like hard packed earth on the sides of the river and trees to swampland.
Okay. Well, this should probably be where we make our exit
Yeah, let's go
and start heading west.
this
Okay.
way.
All right. So you hop out of the canoes. Are you going to carry them along with you, or are you going to kind of just leave them here tied off?
I believe we said carry.
Yeah.
I know I
Well,
carry one before though, because Darius carried the other one. I'm not sure if I
Right.
carried it.
Well, the dog can carry
From
one most
experience.
likely. How heavy are they? Like 60 pounds? 10 pounds?
Canoe?
Yeah. 10 pounds?
Just a moment. They are. It doesn't say. How heavy are canoes?
Like IRL? They're
Like
like
a wooden
couple hundred
canoe.
pounds. Like a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna be thick. I mean, they're gonna be thick wooden canoes.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be relatively heavy.
Oh. No, they're like 50 pounds.
50
Really?
pounds is
That
Oh,
fine.
wooden
seems super
canoe.
light. Hold
Oh.
on.
No.
Wooden canoe weight.
Like a modern wooden.
Yeah, a typical. Well, no, this is Native American
Yeah,
ones.
birch barch over a light wooden frame, a weight of 23 kilograms.
So 50
50
pounds.
pounds. That's safe.
That's the dog can easily carry both of them. Actually,
Interesting. Okay. But they're 14 feet long.
dog can drag
I can
both of
I'll
them.
carry one. No, just let me carry one.
And we'll strap one across the
No,
dog.
Interesting.
Even
Okay.
though the dog could do it, I I'd feel bad just looking at it.
Mastiffs have a strength score of 13. They can carry like 200 pounds of shit. It's actually kind of broken.
He's not gonna like it though.
No, he's not. But he's well trained. He's well
Okay.
trained. I've been training him the whole time.
Okay.
Going to trip, and we're going to end up.
Make
losing
an
the-
animal handling check real quick.
Can Huckfar help me?
I'll give him assistance
Okay. I'll allow that. That's fine.
if I can. Yeah.
An 18, you're fine.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Huckfar
He,
should roll anyway.
it protests at first, but you're able to get the canoe strapped to him. It's a very very ungainly, awkward sight as this mastiff, though able to bear the weight, has this 14-foot long canoe kind of side to side, and you're kind of having to keep a wide berth around him. It's
I give him a little bit of jerky. It's like you're a
the
good boy.
good
You're a
jerky
good boy.
or the bad?
No, the shitty jerky.
The
He
shitty
doesn't
jerky.
care. He's a
Okay.
fucking dog.
Okay.
He doesn't need the spiced shit.
Okay. All right, and you're heading west. All right, so heading along this path here. So, anything you guys are doing while traveling on foot now?
Don't think so.
Okay.
So wait, walking through this terrain, what is the terrain like now?
At this point, it's a little spongy, but you're keeping a berth enough that you're not in the thick of the swamp shit. Like, it's a little bit spongy. It's soft earth, but you're not really like trudging through mud or like water. From this, from exiting off where you did, you are, you got some distance between you and the marsh.
Stan Marsh.
Stan Marsh.
Stan Marsh.
Alrighty.
So yeah, so you're just going along the western side of it, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. We're skirting the western edge of the marsh, heading towards Mbala.
Okay.
And I am mapping it the whole way.
Sure thing.
Same.
Alrighty. Let me see here. Just a moment. Let's take a look.
Hey, I have a question for you, Goob.
Yes.
Sorry, this is totally we're hitting the other game. But read it after.
Okay.
I want that to be my mount for Leon.
Okay. Alright, so. 1 second here. What the fuck? Where's my thingy? Hold on, just a second. Here we are. I was looking for my table of things.
Table of things.
Table
Please
of
tell me
things.
it's actually called that.
Nope.
That's really disappointing.
There's some things, so I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah. Okay. So, as you guys trek through, you keep your distance a bit from the wildlife, but you do notice as you're walking, you see something probably 30 or 40 feet above the ground dangling from a tree branch, humanoid in shape and unmoving.
Bing! Shoot it.
Oh, okay.
Let's not. Can I try and stop
You
it?
can. I have.
Wait, can I use
I'll
my
stop if
reaction
you
to
say
the arrow?
stop.
The
No, you
arrow.
can- I'll
catching
stop
shield?
if you tell me not to. But
Stop.
look,
Humanoid thing. We
strange things hanging out of trees in a jungle infested with undead. My policy is shoot first and fucking double tap.
It
Alright.
could be helpful.
Fine, you investigate. I'll fucking double tap.
Okay, I'll go up.
If it seems
Yeah.
aggressive.
Okay.
Yes, keep notched, but let's
Alright.
approach.
As you approach, it seems to be a corpse hanging
Okay,
from a
shoot it.
tree.
I am readying a shot if it moves.
Can we tell what kind of humanoid?
Seems from here, elf-like.
Elf-like.
Hey, Bumblebee, go poke it or something so that you're in melee with it.
Yeah, how tall, how high is it in the tree?
From now that you're closer, about 40 feet up.
Oh,
Yep.
really? That's it? I think I can
I'm gonna
jump that
climb
high.
the tree.
I'm 99% sure I can actually jump that high. It's 3 times your strength score, right? For
Just
for
a second.
high jump.
High jump. One moment. A high jump is. Oh, it depends. Is it a standing high jump or a running high jump?
Running.
So running high jump 3 plus your strength modifier. So unless you have a
Well,
strength
so-
modifier of 37,
Well, no, I mean I have
the strength
jump
the
spell.
strength score is your long jump. Is what
You
you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
jump.
So
Oh,
with your jump spell, you could go
About 20 feet, so I
about
couldn't
20
get
feet.
to it.
Yes, correct.
Wait, make sure the cat claws. I can climb that high.
Yeah, yeah. With your climb speed, you're more than capable of.
Yeah, 20 feet
Doing
climb
so.
speed.
Yeah, so 12,
Right.
15 seconds or so, you're up, and it's
Cut it down.
okay. You cut it down. It seems to be this. You notice this this elf. Hands, legs dangling down. You knock it over. It wasn't really tied to anything. It just kind of seemed to have been kind of caught in such a way that it was dangling. You kind of shift it, and it falls down to the ground. It lands like a, just kind of impacts the ground.
Did it
Rest
fall
of
at
you
their
guys-
feet?
Yeah, it kind of falls. I mean, the rest of you guys this elf just kind of falls in
Climb
front
back
of you.
down.
I'll move up. Make
Let's
sure
kick
it's
it.
dead.
Yeah. Poke it with a stick.
Crossbow is out, ready for sneak attack, dude.
Okay. So you poke it. Nothing seems to happen.
Guess we loot it.
Okay.
I'm still ready to shoot this shit.
Not much of value on this this individual. You do see that it has. Let's take a look here. Hold on. Nothing really of value on the individual. Some old, now torn and ratty and not sure quite how old clothing. You do notice that it does have a small, kind of more thorough investigation reveals a small note seems to be pressed into its sort of, kind of tucked into one of its pockets.
Let's pull out the note.
Okay.
Before he goes to the note, we're sure this is a corpse.
It's a very dead elf.
I cut off its head.
Okay. It doesn't begin to move or anything. It's a dead elf.
But the head is off.
The head is off.
Okay, now it's safe. We can touch the.
Bumblebee raises his eyebrows.
Man, there's fucking zombie. Fucking hell.
Do you
man.
have something
Double tap.
against elves?
No, I got. God damn it.
To be fair, elves are pretty shitty.
Fine. I fucking loot the body.
Okay. You find the note and nothing else. The note seems to be a sort of hastily scrawled, handwritten account of how this elf found himself up in this tree, chased down by a prowling Allosaurus. Left with no options, this elf ran up the tree, attempted to seemingly get away from this danger, and nothing else in the note. Some notes about how it's been a number of days and the Allosaurus. And when the Allosaurus isn't there, other creatures that seem to kind of watch him curiously gathered at the base of the tree. Didn't feel safe climbing down, and an injury that he had sustained on the ascent and the sort of escape from the Allosaurus was starting to itch. And a little ways below that, and a much more almost illegible scrawl mention of thirst, of his throat being quite parched, quite dry, and feeling weak. The itching sensation now burning and throbbing. And that is the last entry on this scroll of paper.
And where did he say he
Hang on
got
a
the
sec.
wound?
I'll be right back. I'm really sorry. Keep
You're fine.
going. Don't
Fine.
stop. But I need to feed my fucking cat. I'm trying to
just kick it, dude. Just feed it your
Nah,
foot, dude.
Just throw it across
Just
the room.
eat it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Just alinity that cat, dude. So what was your question, Alex? I'm sorry.
Where did he say he got the wound?
Oh, it was on like a leg.
Like, or did he not?
Oh, sorry. It was just a mention of a wound that he had sustained while escaping
Okay.
from this Allosaurus that was charging him down.
Is there any shrubbery that could be moved to cover the body?
Not really in the immediate area, no. It's a lot more the sort of the vegetation and foliage in this area is a lot more sparse than what you've experienced thus far. All right. Anything else you're doing? Or are you just moving on?
No, go back on the old dusty
Okay.
trail.
All right. Okay, so you guys continue onward, stopping for a moment to eat some of your caught fish. So go ahead and mark off some of your fish that has been consumed now as you've been traveling. Alternatively, you can mark off some of your rations if you feel the need.
I was about to say, have I got any fish? Because I
You haven't really been on the water at this point, no.
Yeah. I have rations.
I should have fish. Don't know where they. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
How many fish is a meal?
I'd say for a day of these kind of fish, a couple. 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else want fish?
I wait for Flint to
Okay.
answer, and if he doesn't, I say
You,
yes.
you kind of look and you see Asher just kind of munching on some of his rations.
I look at him and say,
But
yeah, naturally.
Have some fish.
all right. So you give Flint some fish. All right. You still got some
thank you.
daylight left. You guys gonna continue pushing on? Do anything, any kind of like foraging or anything like that? Like, what's your guys' plan for what daylight you have left?
If we've taken a moment to pause, I want to jump up to the top of a tree and look around.
Okay, make a perception check. 5. Yeah, man. I mean, there's a swamp, and to the north there's some jungle. You look off to the west, and there's some cliffs. It's hot. It's hazy, because there's been no rainfall, and you kind of feel yourself a little parched, and trying to look too far in the distance now in the middle of the day. Heat waves kind of blur your vision a little bit, and it's hard to really perceive anything out too far away from you.
And then climb back down and ask the group, shall we continue?
Yes, that's.
Okay, so you continue. Another 3 hours or so of marching through this heat and humidity and insects and While you're not really in the marsh proper, you know, some of these insects from down there still kind of buzz up around you and don't really have anything to aid in abetting some of these, or aid in sort of preventing these insects from kind of being all over you as you walk around and sweat. And real quick, I need to run upstairs for a moment. Let's go ahead and take like a quick 5-minute break. Get right back to it. Once I get back downstairs, my wife needs something upstairs real quick, so I will be right back, guys.
Okay.
Good session, y'all. I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
Having a lot of impact.
Why were you not in that tree?
Yeah.
Because I'm not the dead man. Dead elf.
We thought
Get
that was
back
you.
in that tree,
That's
Corey.
cool. Miles asked me if I wanted to be introduced immediately, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. But I had thought maybe I would be here by now. I will say that.
That's. Yeah, you generally. This group can be a bit slow.
That's okay. It's good. I'm getting a chance to like figure out how I fit into all this.
Also,
Think
you
about-
are going to be killed, apparently, seeing as the first response
I know, really.
humanoid is.
Shoot him and then shoot him again.
I think they need help. Let's shoot them.
I did. To be fair, he said it was totally not moving, which means it's probably a zombie.
That's cool. It's good logic, I think.
Double tap, man.
I'll make
Come
sure
on.
to move. They don't know I'm not a zombie.
Yes.
Bumblebee
please.
always wants to help, though.
Yeah, and Flint always wants to murder. So,
Yeah. That's about right.
well, no, I mean Flint actually doesn't always want to murder. It's more take over the fucking city. But you guys dragged me out of the fucking jungle, so now I got to get my kicks somehow.
Hey, Bumblebee never wanted to even get on the fucking water.
That's true. You're gonna be the best first mate I've ever had, Bumblebee.
Nope.
After this, we're gonna maraud the high seas, you and me.
Saving my spirits, and I'm going back where I came from. You'll never hear from me again.
I'll find you.
I'm like that friend that you had before you graduated from college, and you never heard from him again.
You mean all of my friends from college?
Yeah.
Bold of you to assume I have friends.
Yeah. No, I was telling group about this, but fucking, so I was running a game. I run a game IRL on every other Sunday, and I prepped this whole dungeon, and it was so cool, and all this good shit. And we had 2 new players. And it was gonna be awesome. So you know, it's a big group now. It's like 6 people, but like, we actually wound up with 3 new players that night, but 1 person didn't show up, so it's 7, but minus 1, back to 6. But like, so I have the whole dungeon set up. And I'm like, all right, I need a creative way to integrate the 2 new party members. And it's like, all right. So they're in like the study of a vampire's house, right? Well, just like a shitty vampire. They're level 3, but
Sorry.
and they just murdered the butler because they literally like walked through the door. They found the secret entrance with a fucking natural 20. So I had to redraw the whole fucking dungeon. Then walked through the door, and there's like this little old man like walking over. It's like, is that you? And just instant fucking rogue crossbow to the face. He had 2 health, and he just dies immediately. And I guilt tripped them for a while until they realized like, oh no, he works for the shitty guy. It's okay. But anyways, back to the story. So the fucking dude's been kidnapping people for experiments and shit. So I had the 2 new players just got kidnapped and dragged over to the place. But that also meant that the stairs had to turn into stairs again so that the guards could get in. What I did not anticipate was them killing the guards and then leaving.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay.
That's the issue with introducing new players. You're relying on the players to do something reasonable, and we're playing D&D.
Not even that. It's not even that. It's like, so no, the new players were fine. They were there. Like they rescued them. It's like cool. They can get back to the dungeon now. Like I've got this cool shit prep. There's all sorts of
Oh.
awesome stuff. And they're like, nah, we're gonna go take a long rest. It's like God fucking. So I was smart though. Like I trapped them in there. So the stairs they came down like turned into a slide. So they couldn't get out. But then they could if they couldn't get out, the new players couldn't join. And yeah, so.
Did
Fuck.
they end up running the dungeon?
Yeah, I blackmailed them into it with one of the like thought police guys in the city they're in. Because it's all homebrew, but like,
Yeah.
if you've read the Mistborn books, they're essentially obligators. But you should. They're fantastic. Which the new players like totally got it immediately, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I like you guys already." Because nobody else in the group knew what the fuck I was stealing from. But as soon as they heard like bald guy with face tattoos, they're like, "Oh, I know what he is. We don't fuck with them." I was like, "Yeah, thank you for understanding." But essentially, he said like, "I know what you were doing. I know you just murdered a guy. Go finish the job, or I'm gonna take it to the fucking Inquisition." And so now they're back in the dungeon. But yeah. It's also fun because now 5 out of the 6 players have never played before. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. It would be 5 out of 7 if I just don't know if number 7 is coming back. I think she is, but I know she has really bad anxiety, and school is like she just got into a really like prestigious grad school in our city, and it's like she doesn't want to fuck up. And like I get that. Like believe me, I get that. Like I'm not even in the like nice grad school, and it's still I get kicked out if I get 2 C's, and it's like shit.
No,
So.
I'm not there yet.
I don't think it's that bad for most shit, but like, yeah, you definitely need to keep your GPA over whatever arbitrary number they set. Some places it's 2.5. My school it's 3.0. Some schools I'm sure it's. I think my sister goes to Penn. I think there it's 3.5. But yeah, scary shit. We need to find our way to some kind of civilization though to get Corey in, like straight up.
I'm guessing he'll be in Mbala.
I don't think we're gonna make it to Mbala tonight. Do you?
I don't think we will, but I think Downs may have thought we would.
Yeah, but we're idiots. Why would he think that?
Downs gives us a lot more credit than we deserve sometimes.
I know, right? Although I am really happy that immediately when Flint was insulted, he resorted to violence. So I appreciate that he understands my character fairly well.
Are you? Oh my goodness.
Stepping out for a little bit in case Miles comes back.
Cool. We'll let him know.
We'll let him know you abandoned us.
Yeah, you don't want to play anymore. We'll tell him. All right, I can keep installing XCOM 2 on my desktop, which I've played it a lot already. I love that game.
What type of game is that?
XCOM? It's an XCOM game.
Got it.
I haven't really played anything similar to it, if I'm being completely honest. It's a turn-based third-person strategy shooter, but with a healthy dose of masochism as well. It's like, oh, you had a 95% chance to hit that alien, but you missed. Cool, and now you're dead. and because, I spent all my money upgrading you, now I'm just out all that money. Thank you. But it's honestly XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM 2 are both fantastic games. Enemy Unknown is probably on. It's always on sale for very cheap. You should check it out if you haven't.
I don't buy games. Very rarely buy games, I should say.
So it's $30 right now. It's not on sale, but I would highly just even if you it's in humble bundles a lot. If you see it on sale for cheap, just
Hey
grab
guys,
one,
sorry
'cause
about
it's
that.
really good.
Wife needed some help, but
Yeah, did you give the old
oh, hold on, I have the wrong
sausage
headphones
and
on.
the
One
biscuit?
second. Jesus, I was like, why is it so quiet?
Damn it, you
Right,
didn't hear
swap
my
out
joke.
my headphones for a bit. Where are these at? There we go. Alrighty.
I was like, Corey is stepping away for a second. He'll be back.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a few hours left of the day. Nick, what happened?
Wait, what?
You have so many effects.
Oh, I was seeing like, how do I tell if it's canceled or not?
What do you mean?
Doesn't clicking it once apply it, and the other time?
No, clicking it
next
once will
up.
apply it again.
Oh, okay.
Start clicking it again will apply it again. To cancel it manually, you can either just click the little head that opens up the effects, and then you can remove it that way. Otherwise, it'll be removed automatically when it
Auto
ends.
combat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so. Guys, travel a little bit farther. Eventually, the night begins to set in. Anything you guys want to do? Do you want to push through the night, gain a little bit more ground, or do you want to just go ahead and set up?
I think we should set up camp
I
again.
vote for setup.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright. So, setting up camp once more. It's a little bit, where are you guys setting up? You doing anything different? You gonna try to find some cover, or are you just gonna go ahead and just set up where you're at?
Yeah, is there any cover nearby? This is open field, right?
Not a whole lot unless you want to spend some time to travel back into the jungle. But it's up to you. Where you're at right now, at least, is relatively clear of obstruction.
Well, at the very least, we'll be able to see anything
Yeah.
coming.
It's better than
point.
the jungles, really.
Okay.
Let's say we don't have any light.
Nope.
Maybe have only people with dark vision keeping watch.
That can work, yeah.
Okay. In that case, Asher kind of looks to you all. I could do that then. Able to see in the night. He kind of taps the goggles on his head. I think he has the goggles. Oh no, he's a half elf. Never mind. He's able to see just fine. That's right. Okay, so
Does Huckfar have goggles?
I have goggles, yep.
yeah,
Oh,
so,
nice.
I remember
Okay,
one of you
perfect.
guys had him. Okay.
Huckfar has everything.
Huckfar
Man.
spent a lot of his gold on random shit.
Man, Huckfar doesn't have anything. You should be the other guy.
Alrighty, so normal camp, normal setup.
Yep.
Alrighty, set the two tents out. The rain catchers, though. Today was very much a dry day. Before you guys set up camp, are you guys? How you guys gonna address
water.
Water? Okay.
From the jug.
Figured as much. So you set up the rain catchers once more.
Just that at some point we use the jug for acid instead of water just to get a bit.
Well, sure, we can do that eventually.
As we have enough water to last us for a day from the rain catchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But we didn't get any water these last few days, so we should probably wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
till we
wait a
get
day
some
or
more.
two.
That's
Okay.
reasonable.
So, who's taking the first watch?
Bumblebee
Okay.
takes a big gulp of water
All right.
because he thinks that Flint's putting it in his ass.
Okay. Can I make a perception check?
Ooh-wee. Nice.
20. Nice. Okay. So it's a much clearer night than you're used to, being out here in this clearer area. And you see in the distance, slowly approaching, a large cat. Orange fur, black stripes. Seems to be approaching the camp, curious of this sort of campfire light in the darkness.
You didn't have any light.
Huh?
We don't have a campfire.
No
Yeah, we
campfire
didn't have
then.
any campfire.
Seems to be approaching then. Doesn't seem to have with a 20, you can kind of hear a subtle sort of purring as this tiger begins walking towards the camp.
No motion to have him wake him up.
Okay.
What's
then,
going on?
And then I'm because I know you've asked about it before. I'm gonna because if I could hear it purr, I'd think that it could hear me, right? I'm gonna purr back to it.
You see the ears twitch. You see the ears
I
twitch and
knew
perk
it.
up. Flint,
I
you're
knew
kind of looking around in the darkness right now, like.
I have dark
Oh, that's
vision.
right. Oh, nice.
Oh, wait,
You-
no, I don't.
you
I don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have dark vision.
Kind of looking around the night right now. You hear Bumblebee purring after waking you up.
This is weird as fuck now.
Yeah, very funny. Alright, where's my fucking dog? I'll wake up Roger.
Okay.
We'll take our watch.
All right. It's still pretty early into the initial watch at this point, and Roger, also kind of looking around. I've just realized Roger doesn't have dark vision either,
Nope.
so he should just be making straight rolls, but we'll address that later. So
No,
this tiger, hearing you purring, Bumblebee, kind of ears perk up, turns its focus, kind of laser focus to you, and kind of begins to approach a little bit quicker.
I have no
if
idea,
you-
right?
Yeah.
How close is it? I mean, if I could see it, it's within 60 feet.
At this
right?
point, it's getting pretty close. Yeah, it's kind of just bordering your camp. And still approaching.
Damn it, Corey. I'm gonna whisper, at least as softly as I can, to Flint, that we have a visitor, but it seems to be. It could be a pet. Hmm? What was that?
Nothing.
Nah, you don't need to look it up.
Are you allowing it to approach?
Yeah. Well, if it could I tell if it still made like a subtle purring or if it
Yeah. I mean, it
changed its
still
name,
seems pretty calm.
the demeanor. Yeah. If I can, I would try to show myself to it.
Okay. And it seems to it seems to eventually see you, and it kind of lowers its head and kind of like a. I'd make a cat purring noise, but that's just gonna be terrible. And it kind of approaches and lowers its head and kind of does that cat rubbing thing.
Oh,
Like its head like nuzzles you.
Is it close enough that I can see it now?
I'd say at this point, yes, you can see it.
Holy fuck!
It's a big ass fucking tiger.
I'm gonna try to make a motion to wait and run over to Huckvar and his bag. If I could reach into his bag without waking him, but I'll wake him if I have to. I want a fish.
Okay. I say you can find a fish pretty easily enough.
I'm getting him a fish.
You give the tiger a fish.
Yes.
Scarfs it down. Kind of licks its lips and sits back on its hindquarters a little bit and kind of tilts its head.
Oh, I don't know what to do. Do I need to make it like a bed? We'll wake up Hookfar. 'Cause at this point, I think he would
Okay.
want to write about it.
Hey, time for
Or
my
put it in his-
watch.
Nope, it's a little early still. We have a new pet.
Bumblebee. I'm really not comfortable taking my watch with that beastie.
No, I can tell.
You can go back to sleep. I'll take the watch.
I can. I'm sure it's harmless to us at least.
I don't think so.
Just to
Look,
make sure that
Hmm?
looking at now that I'm
Though-
woke.
we can see its paws, right? Those claws really don't scream hugging.
Let me talk to it.
Okay.
First off, can I tell if it, just to make sure, is there any magic affecting it?
You using detect magic?
Primeval awareness.
Okay. Nope. Doesn't seem to be.
And is it? I'm assuming it doesn't seem hostile.
It does not.
I'll
In
go
fact,
grab-
it seems almost domesticated.
Can I ask if it has any friends, masters, etc., anyone else around here?
Doesn't seem to. It kind of so you kind of gesture, kind of point to the rest of the group, and you point at it. And it kind of looks at you and looks around and lowers its head and kind of like a sad cat noises.
Oh, it needs a master.
Poor kitty.
Tame it, Hookfar. Tame it.
And so I'll motion into it that it can come with us for now, and I'll
Okay.
try and convince it to sit down with me while I.
Yeah, you can take the next watch. I'm gonna go sleep with my fucking dog.
Roger seems a little bit
Yeah.
unaired at a cat being larger than him being pulled into the fold
Well,
here.
Is it though? How big is the tiger?
They're
big.
large.
Roger weighs like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
How much does a tiger weigh?
A
That's like
mastiff is still
800
a mastiff
probably.
is a medium. A tiger is a large
Large.
beastie.
Okay, fair.
Yep.
I want to give it head scritches.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, tigers are 200 to 600 pounds.
Alrighty. So you get some head scritches and go ahead and take your watch if you'd like to, Huckvar.
Okay.
Trying to wake
distracted
up
by the
Asher.
kitty.
He's gonna wake up. There's a tiger in the camp.
pretty preoccupied with the beastie, but it doesn't seem to pick up on anything itself. You do see it kind of, it almost instinctively, perk its ears up every once in a while, doing the cat ear thing, turning from side to side. Seems to be,
It's already being helpful.
yeah, seems to be relatively undisturbed tonight.
Okay. I'll go wake up the not cat person.
Okay, you wake up Asher or Huckvar.
No.
Or
Yeah, I wake up Huckvar.
Okay.
No,
I think you meant Flint.
Flint.
Yourself.
Fuck, dude.
I wake myself
Sorry.
up.
Sorry. I was like, wait a
I'll
minute.
go wake up Flint, and
Okay.
when I go to get some sleep, I'll convey that I'm okay with the lion or tiger staying with me.
Okay. It follows you into your tent and it's cramped, but it curls up in there with you. Alright. Flint. It's dark.
Yeah. So disadvantage for my perception
Yes.
and straight roll for Rogers.
Correct.
Okay. And Rogers.
Okay.
17, that's not so bad.
Not so bad. So for you, it's pretty dark, and while there's a little bit of like just the faintest amount of moonlight in the sky, really making out anything outside the camp is pretty hard. So you know, lean on Roger pretty heavily for this one, and he kind of gets it. You see him kind of take a ready pose, and he patrols the camp back and forth a little ways, and doesn't seem to pick up on anything. Seems a little bit. Every once in a while, he kind of, walks over and sniffs at Huckvar's tent, and seems clearly not pleased, but seems to be a calm evening once more for you all. So, anything you're doing before the night ends?
Just trying to calm my nerves.
Okay. So.
Bumblebee and Flint are the exact opposite.
Alrighty. So, as sunlight once more begins to fill the basin, you can see now in the morning light as some of these herds of dinosaurs kind of come, either some of them out from the jungle, some of them seem to kind of awake, having bedded down for the evening, just sort of in the areas surrounding the basin, surrounding this marsh. You wake up and gather your dry rain catchers, pack up your tents. Anything you guys want to do in the morning before setting out?
I think we need to get a move on to civilization to find. I just feel like somebody's waiting for us somewhere. We need to find them.
I don't see why you think that.
I don't know. It's a weird fucking
This
feeling.
is a pretty empty jungle, man. We could go for weeks without finding anyone. Really,
I don't know. It's just this weird feeling in the back of my head.
And what pace do you guys want to set for the day as well?
I think we got to move ahead full speed.
We're rested at this point. We had a day since. Yeah, yesterday was pretty normal.
We're getting close to our destination. We should probably take it at a medium speed at most.
Okay.
We don't want to overshoot it.
Fair enough. You do travel a little bit slower on foot than you were in the canoes. Typically about a rate, in this jungle, about a rate of about 10 or 12 miles in a full day's travel, so about 1 hex.
Let's keep moving.
Okay. Go ahead and make a survival check, Huck. 20, nice. So you find out you actually got lost before. You really actually were here. No, I'm just kidding. So you continue to travel along. And another brutally hot, brutally humid day. It's almost like the heat causes this moisture to rise out of this basin and fill the surrounding area. The tiger is still with you.
Okay, good.
Anything you're doing as you travel?
Is there any kind of small wildlife?
If I can, I'd forage.
Okay, go ahead and make a let's see, so foraging, 1 moment. Where's my thing here? Sorry. Could make another survival check then, as you're kind of searching around for edibles, food, and such. Okay. So, as we're traveling, small creatures, not so much. You do find a number of these woody vines that kind of hang from the occasional tree here. that has this sort of that have these kiwis along them.
I'll take a few of
What?
those.
What color are they?
Kind of like a brown furry skin. Breaking them open, a nice bright green inside. Very soft texture, unique flavor. Continuing
Send you
on.
a message.
Okay.
Something I'm doing.
All right.
You said they were kiwi, so brown kiwi-like fruit.
Yes, a brown kiwi like kiwi.
Do I find anything suitable for the tiger to eat?
You kind of offer it a kiwi, and it kind of looks at you puzzled, and kind of nudges the sack from which Bumblebee had produced a fish the previous evening.
Fair enough.
Continuing onward. Relatively easy travel. You stop for a bit to take some time to
So, while we're walking,
rest
I'd
up and
like to
eat.
keep-
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Good.
Let's keep a lookout for anything I can use like a red pigment or dye, kind of fruit or something red.
Okay.
I can use as a dye.
Okay. Keep an eye out for it. Traveling onward. Day passes without too much of an incident until
That
you start to hear, as you are now at this point as well, you're getting much closer to these cliff faces. You see these sheer rocky cliffs, these boulders at the base of which, large as what you would in your day, Flint, these boulders seem almost as large as the ships that you used to captain. And you see what looks to be...
so they're
Huh?
so they're canoes.
Yes. Boulders the size of large canoes. And you see in the distance now, and it is getting a little bit later at this point, what looks like it may be a narrow path cut into the cliff face that seems to climb to the top of what you imagine is some 1,000 or more foot high plateau above you. And the cliff faces themselves are sheer. You could maybe climb the face of the wall with some gear and some rope. Otherwise, you could take the path.
Did you
Don't
say
worry,
gear?
I got plenty of rope.
Did you say climbing gear? I'm pretty sure. Don't I have...
And I have rope. Lots of rope. Not as much as I used to, but still a lot.
Yeah.
But there is a path.
How high is the cliff?
Hard to really gauge from this distance, but it kind of it goes clear above the tree line, and above this sort of rising surrounding tree line as well. It is almost sort of mind-bogglingly high, at least from down here.
Do we take the path or do we climb?
Asher kind of looks at his physique, looks at you guys. I'm not really one for climbing, but if that's really what you want to do. What's the plan here, boys?
Well, I say we just need to pick a Bumblebee, you're good at climbing. Yeah.
If
Is
one
it
person
is
can
it
get
rock though?
It is
Yeah.
sheer cliff face.
Yeah.
Yes, cliffs are
Would
made of
cat's
rock.
claws still give me the same climbing speed on a cliff?
You walk up to it and you try to sink your claws into sea, and they find no purchase.
Yeah. I need more of a.
I would say in order to climb
Wooden.
this cliff, you would need a climber's kit. You would need to be proficient in athletics, and
God.
you would need several hundred feet of rope that you could kind of daisy chain up the cliff as you ascended.
You said you have to
What
be
if we don't have a
proficient?
climber kit, but we have what we need for a climber kit?
For a climber's kit?
Is I have.
Then you have it. The kits are just
Yeah,
a set
when
of
you
items.
when you add the kit to your inventory, it sets all the items. So you'd have pythons, boot tips, gloves, a harness, etc.
Hmm.
You'd be ascending in 25-foot increments.
Let's just take
Yeah.
this. Let's just take the path.
Okay, we can take the path.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, as you approach the path, it winds. It's narrow. So you will have to walk in a single file. So, what is the order at which you're marching here?
Right in the
Bumblebee
middle.
first.
I'll be in back.
Unless Hugvar's leading.
Unless you.
He's like.
I mean, if there's just a single path, I don't think I need to be leading.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Bumblebee first.
Okay. Followed by Flint. Where are you at?
I guess I'm second, and
Okay.
then Asher in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Huckfar in the back. Okay.
And then the tiger.
And then the
Yep.
tiger.
Yeah, and then the fucking tiger.
All right.
By the way, still looking for the red.
And
Dive.
the width of this path does get a little bit wider in some sections and a little bit narrower in some sections, but I'd say on average you could say the width is about 4 feet or so. And in many places along this path, you kind of, as you're walking there, these boulders that have tumbled down, or these thick roots and tangled vines that kind of cause you to have to, sort of climb your way through on occasion. But as you're, not really in any hurry or any rush, you are able to clear the obstructions, safely. And you kind of get the idea that, should you need to traverse this path once more, you could probably make better time now that you've cleared a lot of this shit out of the way. But as you climb, eventually, couple of miles or so into this winding switchback path that kind of cuts in between these jutting plateaus and cliff sides, you do get a nice moment of respite as you look out and you're now above the tree line, and you can see this just wilderness all around you. You can see the edge of the jungle and how it kind of winds and wraps its way around this basin. You can see now that once more you see that rock sort of slowly drifting, floating in the sky. You do see from here at this higher vantage point as well, at the top of this rock, this one single dead tree that seems to kind of jut upward from it. You looked out to the west from as you kind of wind around once more and kind of wrap around this northern cliff. You look out to the west, and kind of nestled in this jungle area, you're able to see this location where the trees seem to thin a bit, and kind of nestled here in this jungle, this large ziggurat seems to be sitting out to the west. As you're leading Bumblebee, or really actually all four of you guys, go ahead and make a perception check. As you're all kind of wrapping around here. Wow, really shit, you guys. really shit.
See, a 15 isn't that bad.
Okay.
Compared to whatever's out there, it's apparently.
So, you see as well, Asher kind of sees it at first and nudges you guys, and you take a moment to look as well. You look down, and slightly to the south, and you might need to take a little bit of a path off of the carved path here. You see what almost looks like a shipwreck of some sort, tangled in these trees and plateaus.
About how far away?
Um, seems to be... Oh, loud. 400 or 500 feet or so, maybe.
A shipwreck.
A shipwreck.
Like naval ship?
Can't really tell from this distance.
Well, let's check it out. I like boats.
You said how far
I
away
agree
is it?
with that.
Can we tell?
It's a few hundred feet, maybe, or so.
Yeah, that's not too far.
Okay. So, as you approach this shipwreck, you see battered pieces of wood and splintered hull. You see tarps and tattered cloth, and it seems to almost be this thick leathery substance every so often here. You see this wooden vessel broken into 3 large chunks resembling a ship, but differences that mark it clearly as not a seagoing vessel. Nothing that you recognize, Flint. The stern, this seems to be the lowest piece, that kind of hanging precariously off a cliffside by its rigging, maybe 50 feet above the ground. The middle section of which, up on this plateau 15 feet higher, and the bow of the ship, firmly wedged almost into a sort of V of these 2 meeting cliff faces, another 10 feet above that. You hear this weak voice call out to you, "Hello on the ground. Can you help us?"
No, I don't think so. Let's
And
leave.
as you hear that voice, you look a little bit further, and you hear and you see a stout figure running towards this warhammer brandished, glowing with light, as he runs towards a pack of what you now see sort of standing almost like vultures underneath the shipwreck, looking up at these individuals trapped within, a pack of ghouls.
And a guy, and is that Corey?
And a guy, if you'd like to explain, Corey.
Personally, I think that the guy's pointless. We should just move on.
Yeah, I agree. Let's just leave.
Nice idea. Got to do better.
Oh,
Yeah, so am I describing my character? Is that...
yes. What do they?
Yeah.
They see a dwarf running at a pack of ghouls.
Yeah, so he's about, dwarf height, so on the short side, but kind of stocky. Has a shaved head and a pretty long, very red beard with these very piercing, almost wild-looking eyes. Up his arms, even though he's wearing scale mail, are kind of brandished up to the elbow, and you can see, even from this distance, a sort of series of what look like burn scars that kind of cyclically wrap his arms and even go up the side of his neck a little bit, and have burned a little bit of his beard away on the side of his face as it curls up towards his lip a little bit. As Miles said, just with his warhammer out, glowing with this sort of very bright light, charging all these ghouls that are seemingly waiting for any survivors up in this shipwreck to come down.
All right. So, Anything you guys are doing as you watch this dwarf charge?
Oh, I'm pulling out my fucking warhammer and jumping it. Wait, you said the ghouls were underneath?
Underneath the shipwreck, yes.
We can see them.
You see a few of them, yeah.
You said there were thick vines around too.
Yes, kind of on the path as well. Vines
I
and
want to
boulders and
fucking
stuff.
Errol Flynn my way right next to the dwarf.
You want to what your way? Sorry.
George of the Jungle.
Okay. Just like, you want to do what?
Come on, Errol Flynn is a fucking better reference, but you fucking uncultured fucks don't know who he is.
All right. Okay. Go ahead and do this real quick. A moment.
Oh wait, that's right. Where are the people compared to the ghouls?
The people are up in the wreck.
Okay, like just on the top of it, of the ghouls are underneath.
Yes.
Trying to get to, or trying. I'm guessing trying to climb on it.
Correct.
Okay.
Trying like they're kind of trying. Some of them seem to be trying to kind of scale the cliff a little bit. The rest just kind of seem to be waiting.
Or actually, can I launch myself up with the crew? Is that possible? Well,
it's about 80 or between 50 and 80 feet in the air.
can I launch myself within Misty Step in distance?
Like using the
Like
the vines.
Yeah, like swinging and launching myself.
It's
up
alright. So it's less vines and more like thick roots and such that kind of like blocked the path.
Oh.
Yeah, hold on a second here. So charging and the rest of the
Getting
group.
the map.
Yes. Putting you guys onto the map. Here we are. I'll let you guys to I'll allow you guys. Well, I guess Huckfar, you said you were leading. I'm sorry, Bumblebee was leading. Huckfar is in the back.
Yep.
All right, and then there was the tiger. The tiger that seemed a little bit unsure about this whole thing that's going on here.
I'll pat it, just ensure.
You get him another fish.
I'll encourage him. Let him
I
know.
do not see the map.
I haven't. Yeah, here you go.
Oh, okay.
Hold up. Bam. And then, bam. So, go ahead, guys, and roll initiative. Nice.
Oh my god.
It has not been a good night for you, my friend.
Had like 2 rolls above 10.
Dude, we're so ready for this.
Oh, the ghouls are gonna eat the people before we even get there.
Not if Captain Nathaniel Flint has anything.
Yeah,
to say
there we
about it.
go.
Alright, just
The tiger's gonna go before us.
okay. So, top of the round. Let me go ahead and roll for Asher as well. Let's see. Initiative. Okay. Top of the round, Flint.
Yeah. So, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit. Hang on, let me map this out here. All right, right there. As far as I can get, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sneak attack pool number 1.
Okay.
So nobody is within 5 feet of me, and if I need to Misty Step to get closer, I will. But I don't remember what we decided.
Yeah,
the
so it
ruling
is
was
when
with that
you.
wording.
It is basically when you and your target are on your own. So you have to be. You have to be. It is when when no other creature than your target and yourself is within 5 feet, essentially. For your rakish audacity, I'm assuming you mean.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. If no creature other than your target is within 5 feet of you.
Fine. Bonus action dash.
Okay.
And stab
Yep.
with the rapier.
Yep. Go for it.
I'm probably going to die.
Nothing a few good berries shoved down your throat
14?
can't solve.
I forgot to
so
target him.
it's okay. 14 hits.
Okay, cool.
So you guys watch as Flint rushes forward, brandishes the rapier, and while almost like pulling himself up to it with this sort of bravado, runs the ghoul through, and it falls over, clutching at the wound.
Looks like that enemy got the point.
God damn it! All right. Anything else you're doing?
I've used bonus action.
Movement. Yep.
Uh,
Billow? Is the cloak billow?
oh yeah, beautifully in anticipation of my death.
Okay. That brings us to Asher. Oh boy. Okay. Let me see what Asher's spells are here. Having never played a sorcerer before. Asher.
Just fireball them.
Yeah, he likes to fireball a
He
lot.
does like to
I-
fireball.
Fireball is just.
I mean, it's just so good.
answer.
I think he can actually hit.
All of them.
He can hit at least 4 of them.
Yeah.
Fireball.
You really should
Is
have
it
learned
20?
by now not to.
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, this battle map isn't exactly the ideal that I'd use for this. Several of these ghouls would be also hiding kind of behind some of these craggy rocks and such.
Oh god.
So it's less. I just kind of dropped them on the map to get it a little bit open quicker. It's more of kind of like a situation like this, I suppose, would be probably more
Okay.
accurate. Yeah.
This makes me feel much safer, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these ghouls are almost obscured by some of these rocks, and you see them, especially after seeing that one fall as well. So Asher is going to. Oh, he's going to go ahead and Tides of Chaos. How does he do this? How does he do his spells? Oh, here we go. So he has advantage on this. He is going to Chaos Bolto. He's going to Ghoul number 2 there in front of you, Flint. Chaos Bolt 20 to hit. Real quick. Hit target takes 2d8 plus 1d6 damage. Bam. 14 points of damage to this ghoul. So Flint, you watch as this crackling bolt of energy sails over your left shoulder and hits this ghoul square in the chest. And it kind of like a as it impacts, and it takes this let's see, it takes, in this case, fire damage. So
Figures.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Tides of Chaos. Why don't you do so? Alright. Okay. That's going to be Asher's turn. He's going to move to get a little bit closer to the wall here. Alright. Mirek.
Are you muted?
I think you're muted, Corey.
I am muted, yes. What is that tool lets me measure distance?
So
Double,
if you...
left and right at the same time.
Yep.
If I what? Click left and right? Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Oh damn! I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it puts a little pointer on the map. Alternatively, if you target something, it'll tell you the distance to your target as well.
Alright. You said click both, right?
Yes. Click both and drag, sorry.
Oh, word. Okay, that makes more sense.
Wait, click both what?
Boom. Alright, so
Both mouse buttons and
35,
drag.
35, let's see.
Alright.
And then, like, as far as, like, diagonal movement is concerned, moving on a diagonal, the first time is 5 foot, the second time is 10 foot, and then from there on it's 10 feet for each diagonal, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
Master.
it's like I think it's a variant rule in the DMG.
Alright, I will, let's see, I will turn to this one. Does it have cover behind this tree? Can I see this thing?
You can see it. Yeah, it's kind of trying to like. It's kind of like looking around from behind the tree. But you can certainly see it. Its lair.
Okay, cool. I will look at it with sheer disgust on my face, and undead scum, I will burn you from the face of this planet, and I will scorching ray this motherfucker.
Okay.
So do that.
Wait, scorching ray?
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
I drag it to my thing on here. Is that right?
So yeah, so you can control click the ghoul to target it.
Okay.
And then from your thing there, click the little whatever mode you were just in there. Click it again. Combat, or sorry, I think it's display actions. There you go. You
Oh,
do it that
okay.
way. So if you click the little dice there, that'll go ahead and do the attack roll.
Cool. I'll go ahead and cast.
Natural 1.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and cast all 4 at this dude. Or is it 3? 3.
Scorching Ray is 3.
Yeah.
So the first one misses, the second 2 hit.
Cool. All right. So there's 1, 2.
2 points of
12.
damage. So you guys watch as he holds out his hand. One of the bolts of fire impacts the wall just behind it. It kind of scares it out from behind where it was, and the next 2 square boom boom into the chest, and it kind of you watch this sort of gray mottled skin begin to singe and burn.
Nice. I will then move a little bit back so that I am. If I move like here, are there? Am I like buffered a little bit by the mountain?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
I thought he was a paladin. Shit.
Close.
I'm so confused.
Close, my friend.
Tiger's turn. This tiger is going to kind of like let out this like this guttural roar, and with its with its let's see, it's gonna oh shoot, yeah, it's going to run pretty much full movement at this thing that is just lit up. Actually, it'll run at this one over here, the one that I can see standing here, and that's pretty much its full movement. It'll then let's see, tigers. What do you do, tiger? Oh, it has to move 20 feet towards it before hitting the claw attack. Okay, it can't quite make it there. So, tiger's gonna run there. Defend its master, Huckvar.
Let's see, are any of these? How do I do this again?
What are you trying to do?
Okay. Just trying to remember how this guy's set up.
Oh, okay.
Yes, let's take the first shot at that guy.
Ooh.
Oof.
Fuck
You
him.
drop him, so Huckvar, you pull out the hand crossbow, take aim, and square in the center of the head. And you notice now, and you would have noticed this as well, Mirik and Flint, these ghouls have affixed to the center of their forehead this small blue triangle.
I take it I don't recognize that as any kind of symbol or anything.
You do not, no.
Alright.
You have seen, sorry, so you would have seen other similar undead in the jungles, but the significance or the source of this tattoo on the forehead, unknown.
Okay, so it's a tattoo. It's not like glowing or anything.
Correct.
It's just actually on their skin.
Yeah, it is on their skin.
10-4.
Yeah, and using that as a pinpoint, you go ahead and sink an arrow in it, Huckvar.
Is this guy Ghoul 4 behind?
From where you're at, you don't really have a. Yeah, he's like around a cliff, like a wrapping, curving cliff face.
I'll shoot at this guy then.
This map isn't exactly fantastic for. What the fuck, dude?
Wow.
Holy shit! So that one, you land another arrow square in, and it seems to still be pushing through.
And let me make sure I have.
Fucking.
Yeah, and then I'll take the last shot at him.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and sink another arrow in the kind of like the double tap, one in the head, one in the chest.
And then
it
I'll
falls.
move up to here.
Okay.
We're making a good first impression.
Anything else you're doing, Huck?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so brings us to the ghouls.
I thought it was Bumblebee.
Hmm.
Combat tracker says it's Bumblebee.
Yeah, because you don't see the
Can't
enemies in it.
tell. Yeah.
Oh, well, we do see them. They're just all at the bottom.
They're all at the bottom, yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it doesn't update their order.
Yeah, they're on initiative. They're on initiative 9.
Okay. Cool.
Hold on a second here. Oh, you shot Ghoul 2 as well. Okay, so the one that I was about to move is actually dead. Okay.
Oh, hey, do I need to turn on my passive, my dwarven passive thing we talked about, Miles?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that as well. There you go. Alrighty, so Ghoul 3 here is going to move. It's full. Let's see. Oh, we can't quite get to you, Flint. You're a little bit far out, but he is going to run. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So as close to you as you can before 1, 2, 3, dashing in. This one here, Ghoul 4, having just taken a scorching ray, but seeing this tiger, is going to turn his focus to the tiger. Try to get in on there. He's going to make a claw. He's going to claw this tiger. There's a 11 to hit. The tiger. So you watch as the ghoul rushes up, still kind of trying to pat out some of the flames before swiping wide at this tiger, and the tiger instinctively jumps backwards out of the way of the claw. This guy here is going to try to get in along this mountain range a little bit here, kind of press up against it. This one here is going to, you see in the distance, this one kind of pokes his head around and kind of like looks and like just kind of watching curiously, not really approaching any closer if he can't. And this one here is going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 5, 10, 15, 20. Going to rush up and also using his action to dash to get in with you, Flint. That brings us to Bumblebee.
I would like to rage.
Alright.
And click
You
it.
may rage.
And then I'll use feline agility to double my movement speed.
Okay.
Go right here.
Okay.
Buddy Flint. Yeah, it's really good.
Feline agility. Very strong.
And I will take a reckless attack at Ghoul 3. Which means target.
Okay.
There you go.
So you kind of kick your legs into overdrive, kind of go down on all fours for a moment before rushing across the landscape to get in with this ghoul. You feel tired afterwards. You get up to it, though. You
Pull a
reckless attack.
warhammer. Oh.
19 hits.
And swing
11
again.
points of damage. Seems wounded. Alright. So you crack across the head. This dark, viscous blood seems to drip from these open wounds, and it seems to be turning its focus from Flint over to you and kind of like this.
And it's being attacked by the cat spirit.
It is, and these Mirik, you watch as these kind of spectral, spiritual cats begin to walk around the battlefield, meowing and purring, seemingly rubbing up against this ghoul here.
What devilry is this?
All right, anything else, Nick?
Oh, that's it. I'm good.
Okay. You guys notice all the while this is happening, these individuals above you are like looking down and like, yeah, get him. All right, what you doing, Flint?
All right. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and hit Ghoul 3.
Okay.
The rapier attack.
Yep. You're gonna swing at him. We'll see if you hit. Yeah, you hit.
Oops.
And then I wouldn't have advantage on that, right?
No, you would
It would
not.
have been +2. but I got that.
Even then, yeah. Oh, yeah. So sorry. So Corey, I'm not sure if you're familiar with like typical flanking rules.
You have to
so-
be like 180 degrees behind them, right?
Yeah, and the variant rule for flanking is that doing so gives advantage. What we're doing instead is it just gives you a +2 to your hit, a +2 to hit as opposed to advantage. Just
Okay.
because having flanking give advantage kind of cheapens most class features that give advantage. So
Gotcha. Yeah,
I
it's
want to
pretty-
do something a
pretty
little bit
good.
different. Yes. Okay. So 5. So you hitting him and you're piecing out.
Yep.
Oh, and did you hit the other? You hit the other one as
I
well.
hit him each once. I hit
see
the first
that.
one
Yep.
for 5 damage.
Yep.
Didn't kill it.
Did not. It is very.
I rolled
Close.
double ones on both my
I
damage.
saw.
Sad.
So you watch Bumblebee as the cat's going to be distracting it. Flint takes the opportunity to thank you a couple of quick flourishes of the rapier before getting the hell out of dodge. All right.
Thank you,
anything else?
Bumblebee.
Anytime.
Anything else, Flint?
No, that's it. That's all my action.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Asher, who is going to. Oh, sorry, ear was itching there. Going to quicken spell a quicken spell a firebolt. So he's going to firebolt. He's going to step up here. He's going to firebolt Ghoul 3 with a couple of sorcery points to change his firebolt to a bonus action. That's going to be Ghoul 3, a 21 to hit, and he's going to singe the fuck out of it. So you watch as the tattoos along Asher's body flare up as with one arm he lets loose a firebolt, and with the other hand he points towards the ghoul, the other ghoul next to you, Bumblebee, and he lets loose another one of these crackling chaos bolts of energy at it. And this one, as his action, so that ghoul is dead, it's gone. Ghoul 7 here. Chaos Bolt. 23 to hit. And this time it is. This is going to be psychic damage. So this crackling bolt of energy rips through the sound. Not really perceptible. And you watch as the ears of this ghoul kind of begin to bleed and it kind of clutches at its head. And given that he cast a spell, let's roll that table. Holy shit. Okay. Asher regains 7 hit points.
Sweet.
Alright. Mirek.
All right. So you were saying moving on diagonal is like 5 then 10.
5 and then 10, yes.
All right.
So the first
so
diagonal is 5, everything else after that is 10.
Okay. So I kind of want to move. If
I
I'm
think
standing
if
here, can both of these ghouls see and hear me?
The one with the tiger can, the other one cannot.
Okay. So I need to get further outside of this tree.
You probably kind of take like a little bit of a wider berth, yeah.
I can't really with the tiger in the way.
Yeah, it's kind of clawing at shit.
In that case, I will move up to seeing the cats and their effectiveness. I will move up here and help Bumblebee finish off this one.
Okay.
Let's fire a sacred flame.
Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
dex save.
Dex save.
Always forget that.
for the ghoul. Go ahead and make a save for it here. Save. It's gonna be a 12. It fails.
Nice.
And I think shouldn't it do?
Yeah, I thought it should do 2, right?
Yeah,
that's
Sacred
right.
Flame, cantrip, right? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that should be 2d8 at level 5. So let me go ahead and fix that for you. Alright, so that'll do 2d8 from now on whenever you do it.
Nice. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so 10 points of damage to ghoul
To the
number
one by
Yep.
Yeah, 7.
So you watch as you let loose this radiant flame that starts from the bottom and burns it from the ankles up, and it kind of quickly kindles and crackles in the now kind of pushing into the evening, late afternoon, day. Bumblebee, you feel the heat of this energy as this ghoul next to you burns down to ash.
Even the darkness of death can't save you from Odor's light.
I'm making sure that I think it burned.
Start checking your fur.
Yeah. Pat
Alright.
it down.
Okay. Anything else, Corey?
Let's see. I'll move a little bit more closer to Bumblebee, I guess. Like, let's see, here, maybe?
Okay.
I think I got enough movement to do that.
Easy enough. Alright. The tiger is going to claw at the ghoul. He kind of thinks about biting and then thinks better of it and claws.
Smart tiger.
Don't want that in your mouth.
Wow.
Huckbar, man. Holy shit.
Okay, so
Wow.
the tiger rears back, both paws, and just one paw on like the rib cage area, the other paw on the head, and just like crosses its two arms across, and it splits into two pieces, and it's just
Dang.
thrown side to side with this loud cat meow.
Kind of look at Bumblebee and be like, is that thing with you?
It's great, isn't it?
That's a word for it, I suppose.
It's truly a awesome display of primal bestial strength. And with that, it's going to kind of look back and then begin rushing towards this next one. Actually, we'll see if it even sees it. Make a perception check for it real quick. No, it doesn't see it. Not with a 2. Alright, Huckvar. It actually begins walking back towards you, Huckvar, thinking the danger dispatched for now.
Can I see either of the ghouls?
You can see. I mean, you can. They're in pretty good. Like, you can see where they're at. It would be difficult to hit them, I'll say.
I ignore 1/2 and 3/4 cover.
For you, it's gonna that you see that big ass triangle, and you're like, I'm gonna hit that.
Okay. But I'll aim at one.
You're aiming at the one in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharpshooter's a thing. Jesus.
Oh my god!
What is fucking happening?
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's dead. The first arrow sinks into the chest. The second arrow through and through the triangle. Yeah, fucking A. The one that was trying to observe and considering leaving doesn't get the chance.
I'll move up to, I think I can get here-ish,
Okay.
and use my last shot on this guy. Hey, it missed.
He can miss, guys.
I just letting the tiger after doing such a good job.
Yeah, you kind of like, it's more of a motion to get to the tiger to kind of give it some pets, and you kind of just like lazily fire off in there. You're like, I got this thing cocked anyways, I might as well see. It didn't hit, okay. The arrow kind of skitters off into the canyon somewhere. Alright, brings us to the ghoul. So the ghoul takes a look around, sees the shit not going too well for them, and it's going to attempt to start to flee.
Smart ghoul.
I'll say it starts 5, 10, 15, 9. Trying to duck in between these rocks a little bit. Can get about to here with its movement and its dash. Trying to kind of, you see it kind of having to deal with some of the obstacles that you guys were dealing with on your ascent up this path as well. That's about all I can do though. Bumblebee.
Yeah, how's grappling work? Do I use both attacks?
You make
or do I
a- It's your
grapple
whole
instead
action.
of?
It's your whole action.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Let me make sure I can get there. Yep. Okay. You run up, grapple this ghoul. Try to at least.
Let's see. Let me see here.
And say, oh no. Not after you try to eat these people.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Just use it with any weapon, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And go ahead and make a athletics check.
Double 13.
Double 13. Okay. Excuse me, one moment. Alrighty. Yeah, and so you could hit and grapple. So because you have multi-attack, you can just one of your attacks.
That's what I wasn't sure
yeah,
about.
Yeah. The grapple
Okay.
replaces one of your attacks.
Yeah. I'll use.
Yeah, and it's going to
Wait,
try
what?
to dodge
Wait.
out of that. Sorry. What's up, Alex?
Never mind. I'll ask you later.
Okay. It actually just barely manages to slip through your grasp as you try to
I'm
grab
gonna
it.
fucking grab him again.
All right, go ahead and make
Wait,
a.
is that I can do that every attack? I can just try
So
to
when you
grapple?
want to grab a creature, you can use the attack action to make a special melee attack. If you're able to make multiple attacks with the attack action, this attack replaces one of them. So you cannot make a second
Okay.
attempt to
I'm just
grab.
gonna hit him.
Yeah.
Bash his face in.
Just beat him down. Like, all right, we tried the easy way.
Oh, I did.
That
I
hits though.
didn't.
Yeah, 15
Okay.
hits.
No, I can. I'll do it now.
Yep.
I keep forgetting which fucking key it is.
Control click.
There it is. Control.
Yep. All right. So you try to grab it. It slips out of the way and kind of turns back at you and kind of jeers before catching a warhammer across the side of the cheek. See its eyes kind of spin into daze for a moment. Anything else?
Nope. That's it. I'll just
Alright.
yell to everyone. Finish him.
All right, Flint.
Finish him.
Okay, I can get to there with bonus action dash, and then here comes the hand crossbow.
Very useful.
Here fucking doesn't come the hand crossbow. Do I have +2 because he's in melee?
You do get you get an advantage as he's engaged with a party member.
Okay,
I believe.
cool.
That's how rogues
Well,
work, right?
no, my
Rogue
sneak
things.
attack triggers, but I don't necessarily get advantage.
Yeah, sorry. Sneak attack trigger is not advantage. You're correct.
But do I get to add 2? Is the question.
No. And even if you added 2, it still wouldn't hit.
Still wouldn't hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So you rush up, quickly fire off a bolt with the hand crossbow. Unfortunately, it sails wide overhead before hitting a couple of these rocks.
sorry, Bumblebee. I tried.
This particular ghoul is really tanky.
That's cool. Alright, Asher. He'll... Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20. He'll step up. You'll see him flare the runes once more. Before... just sending a firebolt at it. Saving... conserving. 18 hits. 8 points of damage. You see in front of you, Bumblebee, this firebolt streak past you and light this ghoul up in flame. It's still pushing on, though barely. And then Asher casts mirror image. All right, you guys. So Mirek, you watch as this gray-skinned, old-looking, bearded, tattooed man steps up. These tattoos flare with light. You see on one side the tattoos glow red, the other side they glow with this like white light. And after he sends out this spell, it almost seems like reality shifts for a moment, and then suddenly there are multiples of him. And it is your turn.
Cool. Looks like I'm going to repeat my excellent turn from last time. I'll just move. Let's see. Just like right there, probably. About. Yep. Cool deal. And I will Sacred Flame him again.
Okay.
Guy has that too.
I forgot
again.
dwarfs are slow.
Okay,
Yeah, he
so-
fails, so go ahead and roll damage.
Word.
Yeah, it's enough to. And you want some more. You sort of amplify the flames that were already on the body, wrapping, sort of sheathing these burning flames with this sort of radiant burning energy. And the ghoul expires.
Be gone.
You hear
Hey,
these like
Bumblebee.
cheers and shouts from up above of these individuals up in this wreckage. They're like, "Great. Do you think you could get us help us down here now?"
Yep,
No.
Bumblebee, boost me. I want
I
to.
take a moment to myself. I'm like,
I am
panning
running
heavily.
straight at you full speed while you're still raging, and I'm casting jump on myself. And I want him to throw me as high as he can. Boost me.
Yep, I'll do that.
Ooh, this should go well.
Can I rush over before they do that and cast Guidance on Bumblebee?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cool. I will do
You're
that.
yeah,
Guide me.
I'd say so.
Put a hand on
You're
Bumblebee's
at a
shoulder.
higher initiative than Bumblebee. Fuck it.
Yeah. May the light of Other guide you, friend.
Okay.
Yep.
And then
So,
you're doing. What are you doing here, Dusty? You're doing a long jump or a high jump here, and you're
I'm
casting.
doing I'm trying to jump. Yeah, I cast jump, so I'm going 3 times as high as I normally would,
Okay.
and I want Bumblebee to throw me into the air as high as he can, while I do a running high. I guess a running high jump also
Okay. So running high jump with your jump spell.
is gonna get me about 12 feet.
So
Yeah.
3 plus your strength modifier. Yeah. So that'll be 12 feet.
Remember, I'm
they're-
6'9" as
Yep,
well. Don't
yep.
forget that.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Throw.
Wait, how high is this?
50
Like 80
feet.
feet up.
Oh,
Oh, it's
okay.
50
The
feet?
lowest
Oh.
the lowest point is 50.
Then I don't even need a boost.
Oh.
I literally can. I can high jump, misty step, and be able to catch myself. But with the boost, well, this is fun. So let's play it out.
All right. Let's see. I would
Literally,
say
I
I would
would
say
need,
Nick,
like-
go ahead and make a athletics check, Nick.
I'm still raging, right?
You are
Still
still
raging?
raging.
You get to add 1d4 if you'd like to
1d4.
from Guidance.
Yep.
22
22.
easily.
Oh.
So so Asher, Hukvar, and the tiger are kind of standing back, kind of watching all this take place. And Hukvar, you watch as Flint just yells out to Bumblebee,
Boost me.
charges over. You see him kind of wave a hand over his own body for a moment. You see a kind of faint shimmer as
Actually,
he rushes over.
I don't have to do any components for it, so this just happens.
Oh,
There's
just
no magic
happens.
involved.
Easy. Yeah, mind training, mind psionics or whatever.
Yeah.
So rushes over and you see this small dwarf. You said you put your hand on Bumblebee's shoulder, but can't quite reach, so you kind of settle for a hip. You settle for a hip. And you see this radiant energy suffuse Bumblebee, who catches Flint's foot, and then with like the strength of 1,000 tabaxi, pushes him up into the air. Any kind of special thing you're doing while you jump? Any kind of flourish of any kind?
Did I make it high enough to not use Misty Step?
You're up above them.
Holy
I'll say with jump on a 22 athletics. Fuck it. You're above the people on this. You're above
My
the people
cloak
on the
is
stern.
Billowing so gloriously, and as I land, I'll just take my hat, take it off, give him a bow, and say, "Captain Flint, at your service.
Okay.
Let's see about getting you folks down from here."
All right. So you land on the stern here. Let me go ahead and give you guys a point of reference. So, bam. So ignore the fact that there are trees. These are cliffs now. So you land up here on the stern here. So let's go ahead and throw you down. Bam. And the one that was calling out to you seems to be kind of sitting on the fuck is it, the middle section or so. This Thessalendra Brave Wing looks to you. Well, that was quite the jump.
Thank you. It was all my friend down there. He's got a good arm.
Well, you see, we were sailing through the air when a group of these. Have you seen these? I believe the locals call them terra folk. They have wings. They don't take kindly to people flying in the airspace, it would seem. They assaulted our ship, and we, well, here we are.
Sorry. Just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You were flying in this ship?
We were.
It has all the aesthetics of a normal sailing ship?
Yes, well, it is of, have you ever heard of Halrua?
No, but I want it.
I see. We specialize in the production and navigation of airships. We use, you see, a large gas bag with a gas lighter than air to keep us aloft, and it's not a exact science steering these vessels, but it gets the job done. But our airbag was slashed. We were rapidly losing altitude. We hit the rocks here. These ships aren't really meant to take a beating, as you can probably see here. And as you can imagine, to keep this ship aloft, we need to use lighter wood. And did not fare too well on this rough landing. Thankfully, we were kept up off the ground above those creatures. But it's been a couple of days now. We're getting a little bit desperate.
Sure, I understand. Point of clarification. You build these?
Yes.
Right.
I don't build them myself, no. And you see, it's this kind of like tan-skinned human woman speaking to you here. You see...
While my jump spell is still active, I'm going to jump over to them.
Okay. You hop over to them. Whoop, whoop. And you see standing around her just a number of crewmen, generic outfits. She kind of gestures to the two on the bow. Our navigator and master at arms are still stuck up there, unfortunately, but...
Alright, I'll get them down. But point of business. I want one of these.
I see. I can't do
my own
anything
ship
for you currently.
Right, but say, we just risked our lives and livelihoods to rescue you at great risk to ourselves. I feel an airship would be just reward, especially considering I'm about...
Sorry, what was
No, I'm like 50 feet up.
Yeah, so at this point, you guys could hear them initially talking, and the conversation got a little bit softer as they kind of got closer to each other.
Now, I'm about to save your lives. Here, actually, as a show of good faith, I'll take out the jug and start pouring them each some water.
Okay.
Water, not meat, not alcohol. God.
They've been trapped in their up in the tree. I doubt they had water up here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're looking
Get
rough.
drunk.
No, I give them water. I'm not trying to kill them. Yet.
They're looking on like the verge. They're pretty.
Yeah, no, I'm giving them some water out of the jug. So trust me, this is clean, fresh water. Fear not. But
They don't even finish, and they kind of grab it and start to drink.
Yeah. When they're done, I'm gonna
takes a moment. God, that's good.
Yep. Anyways, as I said,
You were saying.
I want an airship.
Okay.
And as a show of good faith, I could have used this water as negotiation tactic, but I'm just a nice guy who doesn't have any desire to plunder the skies, and I would really like... You think you can work out some kind of discount with your boss on account of the fact, we saved your lives and all, to sell me one of these?
Tell you what, you get us out of here, or at least somewhere where we have enough provisions or supplies to make our way out of this place. I'll see if I can put in a word for you if you ever make your way to Halruwa.
Oh, actually, better idea. Can we salvage this one?
No. I... The airbag's torn to shreds.
Yeah, well, give us enough time. We can put it back together, I'm sure.
We have a goblin army we could put to use.
We do have a goblin army that we can use to rebuild the airship.
Goblin... Where did
Yeah,
you say you were from?
Me, personally, nowhere special. But our friend down there is... Baldur's Gate is, if you must know. But our friend down there is a goblin god. Self-proclaimed, but they believe it. So we could easily get them to come salvage this.
What are the rest of you guys doing down at the bottom?
If there are corpses that are not already smoldering, I'm going around burning the corpses.
Okay.
Before he does that, I'm going to take the skin off of... Take the tattoo, the skin the tattoo's on, off of one of them.
Okay. So you kind of just like flay a little bit of the skin off.
Yeah, just store it in my bags.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I guess I'd realistically loot them first and then burn them.
Yeah, I mean they're ghouls. They don't really have a whole lot of loot.
Okay, I figured as much, but I just
Yeah,
want to
but you-
specify,
you
make
do-
sure I
you do
didn't
kinda
burn
look-
some magic
yeah.
item.
You do kind of look around and you do see, likely maybe spilled from the ship above, a number of like wrecked or broken crates of supplies. Most of which that have been kind of picked through or torn through. You do see a couple of crates that seem to be in relatively better shape, kind of tucked around like a corner, kind of back in one of these rock formations that seem to have, at least for the time being, evaded the eyes of any would-be scavengers.
So I'm seeing that, or
Any of
Just
you
anybody
guys down
down
at the
there?
bottom that are searching around would, yeah.
okay. Well, I'm burning bodies, and then I'm gonna kneel down and look up at the sun and say a prayer. So
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna go ahead and pop out my rope, rig up a little pulley system
Okay.
of harness and things, and start telling them to. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go set up this for your friends as well on the other ship.
Okay.
So I'll lower them down first. You guys are you strong enough to lower each other down?
She kind of looks around. No, unfortunately, we.
All right, fine. Get going. I'll do it.
Okay, so as you're rigging up this pulley system, rest of you guys down at the bottom, you've now successfully burned up your bodies, found some of these things. Anything else at the moment, or are you just kind of waiting, or?
Moby took like a moment to rest from the
Mhm.
battle,
From
and
the
then he's
feline.
been looking up, just
Thanking
waiting,
the tiger
looking
forest.
for
Make a perception check, Bumblebee.
1 second. Ooh.
16. Okay. Let's see here.
He's maybe been looking for signs of Flint, or
Yeah.
letting the crew members
While
down.
looking around and kind of seeing what's going on, you start to see Flint setting up some ropes and some pulleys, and seeing him, kind of leaning over and funneling some rope down, pulling rope after, coil of rope after coil of rope out of the bag. You notice something, rather you hear something in the distance. You're not sure how far. You hear what almost sounds like a but more haggard and I guess aggressive. Like it's like a
It's not purring.
It's not purring. No, this is some kind of like ooking. And you hear the sound of falling rock in the distance, getting
Which-
closer.
Which direction is it coming from?
The direction that you guys came from the path.
I'm gonna try to move towards Asher and Hugfar and just tell them I think there's something coming.
All right.
Sounds feral.
Okay. So, you guys all kind of take a moment to look. Flint, you're still sitting at this pulley system.
It wouldn't take that long. It'd just be like a bow line and then start lowering them.
This is all kind of happening simultaneously in a sense.
Yeah.
As you're kind of beginning to finish the rope and finish the last of it and kind of starting to try to work out how you're going to get those two down from the bow, you see coming down from one of the top, actually go ahead and, I'd say, go ahead and do this again here. Yeah. Okay. What's your passive perception there, Flint?
Low.
13. Beats an 11. So, you see, dropping from the sky, off of the top of one of these plateaus, these large, four-armed apes that seem to have caught something, maybe heard you from afar, heard the sounds of battle. But you notice something is off as this large, four-armed ape lands down in front of you here as you're kind of escorting these crewmen, beginning to escort these crewmen off. Let me see here, just a moment. Where the fuck? There we are.
The rope is already down, by the way, if Bumblebee needs to climb
yeah,
up here.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So, as
And
you
tied
kind of,
off
as you have
securely.
kind of like tied the rope and like thrown it down, these three large ape-like beasts. Oh, that's the wrong button. Bam.
They're all dead.
You see now as the one lands in front of you, pieces of the skin, patches of the skin and fur are missing, and you see bone and muscle beneath. You look up, and these cold, dead eyes look back at you as it looks at you, raises all four arms, and just fucking starts slamming the wood and charging you. And the rest of the crew.
Shit.
And that's what we'll pick up next week.
Oh, balls.
Eek.
And you guys down at the bottom would have now heard and seen these large creatures just like thud, like boom, 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 as they land down on the wood, and you see splinters start to fall, and some of the ship starts to shift. But yeah.
Cool. I'll come help
And they-
3 turns from now.
And
When I climb with my terrible
They
speed.
do some disco. Alright, you guys. Alrighty.
Well,
So.
Well, Flint
for
never
looking
planned
out.
on dying a hero, but he likes saving some people.
Hey, you were before being the hero.
Yeah, but I
you
said you
were
just
still trying to get personal gain.
And
It was a
I
good
know,
balance.
You can at least get him on the ground and then talk about.
I was setting
No,
up.
he's
the
got him
pulley
at an
the whole-
advantage
I
if
was
they're-
I was legitimately setting up.
Yeah,
the
he had
pulley
more
the whole time.
advantage while they're up there.
Yeah, but I was setting up the pulley. I gave them water. I
Yeah.
set up the pulley. I was just
Yeah.
trying to leverage the
Yeah.
situation as I was doing all of that. It's not like I was taking extra time to exploit them.
Sure.
I was just exploiting as I did other
The
things.
situation.
It was,
It wasn't.
tangential exploitation.
No, I was just being a
Opportunist.
villain and her. And being her.
Yeah, an opportunist. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
I
It's
want a
almost like-
fucking
it's
sky
almost-
ship, man.
It's almost
Come
like
on.
Flint comes from a background of piracy or something, right? Like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
who'd have
No,
thought?
nonsense.
Who'd have thought?
I'm not saying what you did was wrong for your character. I'm saying
It's wrong in general.
Bumblebee's saying, yeah, it's wrong.
This is I'm gonna. But you didn't hear any of it. I'm just saying. You didn't
Nope.
hear any of
It's
it.
true.
So you guys don't know.
All you guys heard was angry ape zombies.
For ooks.
You heard ooks. Ook, ook, ooks. Oh, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, that was...
Maybe we'll just bring the ship down, and we can find them all down here.
Yeah, that shouldn't cause a problem, a
Yeah,
90-foot
but then all the
airship
civilians
falling
will
80
die.
feet.
Like I'll
You
be
just need
fine. But the
one.
civilians will die.
Oh, man. Alright,
As long
so-
as we have one of them live, you can have your discounted airship.
Yeah, I think they'll be more cooperative if they're all alive.